Injuries go for today. We've got a couple guys that are under the weather, Leo and Mike Edwards. Pacheco is still working on that shoulder, and Donovan with the neck stingers. So those guys won't go today. Everybody else will be in there rolling. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Patriots. Good football team, well coached, play hard. Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest coach to have coached in the National Football League. He proves it every year. You can see the improvements that they've made this year with a young group and the things that they're doing now. Their defense is playing outstanding football right now. So, and then Bill O'Brien is the offensive coordinator. Steve's following right in his dad's footsteps, is doing a heck of a job as a defense coordinator. So, we brought the guys in yesterday, and they understand that all our focus is straight ahead on the Patriots, and every day that we have to practice against them and for this game is important. So anyways, with that, time's yours.
Andy, is that any different than a normal week to bring them in and try to stress that point, like moving forward?
Now listen. I felt it after the game, so they know the importance of it. So.
And what might you be able to share? Anything particular you do to try to make that reset? Anything you say in particular? Or?
Yeah, really, there's nothing that needs to be said. It's what's real in front of you. So. You just got, and then you need to maximize your time with this. So they do enough stuff offensively that you better be on your toes, and defensively, they do a lot of stuff. I mean, this is a Belichick defense, and they're going to give you a ton of different looks, and it's going to be tapered for your offense. So
with Kadarius, what's the kind of coaching point as far as that goes? I mean, is there an emphasis on, obviously you want to follow with him about making sure that it looks like he's on the line, but is there just also a
we just talked
love
about
you up?
Yeah, he's in a good place. He's in a good place. So it's not things happen. So you learn from it and you move on, and that's where we're at.
Andy, with the end of the game, what's the just level of frustration?
Yeah, we're not there. We're moving on. That's where we're at. It's happened. Done. Got to go.
When you've been around the guys this week, you're sensing that they have moved on and they get the task at hand. How happy does that make you feel that didn't take a whole lot of prodding to get them there?
Yeah, I felt that way even towards, the end of their little bit in the locker room. When I got done with you guys and came back, they're going forward. So.
It's been a while since you've had to play without Pacheco. What do you feel like you guys are missing, maybe when he's not in the lineup?
Yeah, well, that's a tough question because no matter how I answer it, it makes somebody not look good. So we love Pacheco and we love his energy, but at the same time, Clyde and McKinnon, I thought, did a tremendous job in there. So I don't want to slight any of them because they're playing well and they all bring energy in their own way.
Andy, what do you make of just the way L'Jarius has played really throughout the whole season, but particularly in those games where you guys ask him to cover top wide receivers?
Yeah, he's played at a very, very high level, and we've asked him to play against the best, and he rises up to it. You never take it for granted, but you sure know that he's a competitor that way, and steps up when needed.
This was the most last game that we saw Reid, about 85% of the snaps. What did you take away from him getting get a full game there?
Yeah, he's getting better. And so that's one of the positives you can take out of the game. I mean, really, the last few weeks. So every opportunity he gets, he's making progress.
And with the offense, is there a particular game-like situation or scenario you want to sort of emphasize more or stress more this week compared to what you guys have sort of seen over this?
Yeah, well, the obvious, Nate, is that we've got to start better both sides of the ball, and we've got to finish stronger, both sides of the ball. I mean, that if you're, which isn't, that's pretty obvious. So, but those are things that our guys understand.
Is there something throughout your 25 years that you sort of lean back on if you know team needs to start better or team needs to sort of finish better in one way or the other?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you the first 15. You want to?
I'd be happy to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there are things that you can, you think through and.
You got a longer look at Wanya Morris, just what you're seeing from him?
Yeah, I thought Wanya did a nice job. You can really tell the athletic ability and strength. And there's some things he's got to learn, obviously. But he wasn't fazed by the whole scene. He got in there, did his thing. There are a couple of things he's coming out that he's got to work on, and he'll do that. But I was happy with what I saw there, yeah.
Andy, with how dramatic the last game ended, how much does diving back into the details, diving back into the routine, how much does that help move forward?
Yeah, well, I think it's important in this league. I mean, that's how things go in this league. I mean, it's week to week, and you better be able to get over it and get going. And I'm lucky to have some guys that feel that way. Let's go. So that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Andy, you obviously have great respect for every opponent, but I wonder how much sort of Bill's past, Bill's pedigree tells you that it's easy to get guys motivated to play it.
Yeah, listen, he's the best. I mean, he's a phenomenal coach, and so his guys are going to be ready. They're well coached and they play hard. So you know that, and it's a tribute to him and for how he goes about his business.
Coach, in basketball, you might have a no, yes when a guy makes a shot you think he shouldn't have taken. You have a little bit of a no, yes when Travis decides to throw the ball across the field in the middle of the play.
Well, listen, I see it every day in practice. So we do those things. I mean, yeah. So I mean, hey, the end result was good.
Couple more guys.
Don't come back to the bench if it's not.
Kind of stemming off of Ahi's question, when you get a guy like Joe in here who had been in Bill's system, Joe Tooney, how noticeable maybe is the difference in the player when you get your hands on them, maybe someone that came from another system or a draft pick, something like that?
Yeah, well, Joe's he's a Pro Bowl caliber player, so he was good for them, and he's been good for us, and he was well coached, for his time there. I put Brendan Daly. As a coach, he's in that thing too. Yeah. So, all right.
All right,
Good.
thank you.
All right, guys. How you doing? Good.
Patrick, you got a change of heart about some of the things you said and did after the game. Why? I mean, did you feel like it was emotion talking at that time, or do you have a change of heart about how you felt about it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely emotion talking when I was talking to Josh at midfield. Just to lose the football game, a tough football game in a tough way. But I let it go on too long because I mean, like I said, he had nothing to do with it, and so just show better sportsmanship and tell him great game and kind of keep it moving.
Coach just said you guys came in on Tuesday. Was there a special something out of that you got to carry on and look forward to this week?
I mean, I think once the game was over and you kind of got to sleep and came back on that Monday, Tuesday, I think everybody's mind was in the right spot. I mean, in this league, you kind of have to move past that stuff, and we're going to play a great football team that plays extremely hard and is playing great, better football right now than they've played all season long. So it's going to be a great test for us and a great challenge. And so I think guys' heads are in the right spot.
Patrick, calls aside, when it comes to in-game situations, what are you seeing on the tape that you guys can try to improve upon and just execute better?
Yeah, I mean, there's just little things here and there, but little things are how you lose football games, and we'll continue to emphasize those and try to practice even better than we've done all year long, and try to be better this next week. And this is a great challenge for us. Their defense is playing really, really good football, and so offensively, we're going to have to execute at a high level in order to have some success.
Did you reached out to Josh Allen?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to Josh a lot, so we're all good. But I'll keep those conversations to ourselves.
Patrick, do you feel like you're at a little different kind of crossroads than maybe you've been at before this late in the season, a couple losses in a row, some little controversy? I mean, is it a harder challenge to reset in some way or an easier challenge to reset?
I mean, I don't know yet. I mean, all I can do is go about business like I do every single week and try to get better and better and play the best football I can for this upcoming week. And so it's the division is tight, the AFC is tight. We have to just go out there and play our best football and try to get better this week and try to find a way to get a win.
Do you have any concern? You got to bring the team together, or is there any worry at all that guys are maybe just frustrated and not as locked in because of the way things are going?
Not that I know of. I mean, at practice, what we used to walk through, that looked great. I thought guys were really locked in. We're about to go out and have practice. But, I mean, guys' heads are in the right spot. I mean, everybody knows that if we can correct the minor details, that we can win some of these football games that we've been in to the very end. But we have to go out there and prove it. We have to go out there and correct them. And so I think guys are just trying to do that at practice today, and then we're going to try to do it again the next day.
Patrick, you talk about those minor details. In the past, like you've said, and some other players have talked about Evie, how he pushed you guys and held you guys accountable. Who's the coach here that does that now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of a lot of guys. I mean, I think Coach Bieniemy set that standard when he was here, and I think you can see those lingering effects of the other coaches who have coached underneath EB, and then Coach Nags is, I mean, obviously coached with EB, been the offense coordinator before, and QB coach last year. So, I mean, we hold each other accountable. The coaches hold us accountable. But obviously, we've made some mistakes that we don't typically make, and we're going to try to correct those as quickly as possible.
Patrick, have you had a chance to check in with Kadarius this week, and what was your message to him and all the receivers concerning just kind of flipping this script the last stretch of the season?
Yeah, I mean, all the receivers know I believe in them. That's just kind of how I roll. If you're in this locker room and I see how hard you work, I'm going to trust in you in big moments, and I'm going to give you chances to go out there and make plays. And from everything I know, their mindset seems like it's in a good spot, and they just want to go out there and continue to get better and better. And I can see that by how hard they're working out here. And I feel like as we can just continue to push through the grind, that we'll end up on the other side of it as the season goes on.
What was your message to Kadarius?
Just be you, man. I mean, that's all you can do in life or in this league. I mean, you're going to make mistakes. I mean, stuff's going to happen in your life. How do you accept that adversity and get past it and do it the right way? And Coach Reid preaches that, and that's how I roll. I mean, you make one mistake, that's not going to define you. It's going to be how you respond to that mistake.
Patrick, with your status as a leader on the team, do you feel it's more important to be a leader this week from a verbal standpoint or from just your actions and how you're trying to, move forward as a group together?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always actions are first for me. I mean, you have to prove that you're doing things the right way in order to be able to say anything. And I think if you come in the building every single day and work your butt off and you show that you really truly care, then when you use your words, you can they mean more. It's not just words. It means that they know that you care, and that's how I've always rolled. And it might not be yelling or screaming or whatever it is, but they know that I care about this thing, and I'm going to use my voice whenever it's needed.
You said before that you've always enjoyed playing against a Belichick-type defense because there is so many variations to what they can present you. Is there something about them that forces you to concentrate on even more things than like the average game plan going forward?
I just think they do a great job of making everything look very similar, but doing little things here and there to change it up. That's where they get in trouble at the quarterback position. He knows tendencies. He's going to really break it down what you do well and try to take that away. And even if they play a coverage and the rules say it might need to play it this way, he's going to adjust it just enough to affect where you want to go as a quarterback position. And so it's a great challenge for you. And I think that's why you see the young quarterbacks, especially like I was early in my career, you have trouble, and even veteran quarterbacks, because you think you know where to go with the ball before the snap, but he makes those adjustments week in and week out to take those away and make you get through your progressions and be perfect every play. So it'll be a great challenge, obviously for the offense, but for me especially.
We'll last couple, Sarin and then Todd.
Patrick, 6 years as a starter, we've never had a time where you came and said, hey, I need to apologize, or, that's a lot of pressure to be the face of the franchise. You were like 22, I think, when you started. Like, you feel that pressure? Is that, something that weighs on you to carry yourself a certain way and act a certain way all the time, be in front of the camera all the time?
I think that's not necessarily pressure of being the franchise. This is pressure of being a good person. I try to act in a way that I'm a good role model, because I looked up to guys that were on this stage ever since I was a little kid running through the locker room. So I'm just trying to be a good person, and obviously I care. So my emotions were shown on the football field, which they've been shown in good ways, and obviously that wasn't a good way. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be the best person that I can be. The face of the franchise, NFL stuff, that's going to come and go. But if I can show the person I am every single day, and that's an example, that's what I want to do when my career is over.
You mentioned getting ready for a Bill Belichick defense and how he coaches. Your very first game, you weren't playing, was open in 17. How much more equipped are you now to be ready for that than maybe you would have been that very first day? And how much maybe has what he does changed over those years as you look forward?
Well, to answer your first question, I'm glad I wasn't playing that first day, because that'd have been a tough test coming out the gates when they're dropping the banner, and Alex was able to go out there and kind of do his thing and win that game. But yeah, I'm definitely more equipped now, just seeing a lot of different stuff. But I think the great thing about Coach Belichick and all those coaches is, he changes, but he stays the same, and he does different stuff. He does everything. He'll take stuff from he's done 10, 15 years ago and implement it into the game plan and the scheme that he runs now. And so he's got everything. And so it's your job as a quarterback to be able to adjust on the fly, put your team in the best position to have success, and not hurt your team. So it'll be a great challenge, like I said, and I'm excited to go out there and try to execute and try to find a way to win a football game.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
What's your confidence level that a ceiling tile is not gonna fall in?
I was looking up. I was making sure that I had extra tile up today, man. It's all good. Oh, sorry.
Chris, just in general, what's the mentality of this team as you try to move past last week and go into this one?
I think it's more so focusing on us, correcting our errors, seeing what we can get better at as a team. I think, it's hard to say, but I think these games are beneficial for us as a team to go through this adversity early. We got a young group, got a lot of young guys, and if they was on the team last year, they kind of didn't have to go through this type of adversity that we're going through now. So I always said adversity builds character, and it prevails teams. Tough times make tough people. So we're in a tough situation right now, coming off back-to-back loss. Haven't had those in over a decade. I haven't been here for a back-to-back loss. So spirits are good. Spirits are good. I think right now sharpening the mind, making sure we up in our game, making sure we looking in the mirror at our own game, seeing what we can get better at, and then executing what is your a drill, a play, executing at a high, rapid pace, and by the end of this week, we'll be where we need to be.
You mentioned young guys. How important is it from a leadership standpoint? Because a lot of guys, look to you for possibly for answers. So how important is it from leadership?
Listen, I don't think no one really have the correct answer for this.
Yeah.
I think it's just more so evaluating self-evaluating, making sure we're, like I said, we're looking in the mirror as ourselves, what we can do to better our game, whether it's watching film more, whether it's doing extra drills, or putting in more time to whatever it is to recovery. Just the little things, We're not far off where we want to be as a team. You look at the games we played, we've been right there mostly in every game, right? So just the little detailed things that we can kind of fix as individuals that can help us as a whole.
Even though the Patriots have only won 3 games, what makes Belichick so dangerous as a coach?
It's a well-coached team, and they're defensively built. And you look at the base of their team, they're built to run the ball, hardcore physical team, old school type of team. You don't kind of have that in the league these days because most of the league is about passing yards nowadays. But that's a physical team built off of their defense and, and running the ball. So, that speaks for itself. Type of coach Belichick is hardcore physical, hard-nosed coach. Been in this league for a while. Got much respect for him and the way he's prevailed as a coach, and how he's been such a generational coach in this league. For a decade or even longer, Coach Belichick has been a successor in this league.
Chris, would you say, is it fair to say that the emotions after that game were a little different than anything you've encountered in the NFL? Just the way you guys felt, and Andy and Patrick, everything?
I think anytime you take a loss, there's high emotions. We're not used to losing, man. We're not used to losing, and emotions can be very high, especially after a loss. So I think everybody's mind frame is right. Everybody just as competitive as we got a competitive locker room, whether it's the coaches, players, we're all competitive, right? So when we take a loss, we hold it dear, and we got to look for a way to bounce back this week.
And you'd say probably not any different to turn the page than after any other loss? I mean, it's nothing different about, moving forward?
You always got to move forward. This is a week-to-week basis, man. It just happens so fast with this week, man. And you got one game, then you got one day off, and the next day you got to start preparing for the next week as the next coming team. So you don't really have time to kind of linger on a loss, right? It's all about moving forward.
Chris, going back to that, actually, Patrick has a reputation for being so calm, so cool, so collected. From a locker room perspective, what did guys think about seeing him so fired up at the end of that game last week?
It's just the drive of Patrick, man. We're all competitive. We all feel a type of way. As much as we try to be professional and not show our emotions, but at moments of times, sometimes emotion gets high. We don't look at Patrick as nothing but a hell of a leader. Keep that fire up. Maybe bring it to this game throughout this week. Keep it up. We love it. We feed off of that. Energy is contagious.
Chris, speaking of that, the cameras caught you and Joe on the sideline. People make a big deal about that. What should they make out of that?
Nothing, just two competitive spirits having a conversation.
But Chris, was that different than it's ever been with Joe, or that's been that way plenty of times and we just haven't seen it?
It's been that way plenty of times. I just hate the camera caught it this time.
What, did the tablet survive? Did you check and see?
Yeah, I think the tablet lost its heartbeat, but thanks to Microsoft, we can get a couple more.
Chris, one of the things, you guys right now are minus in turnovers, right? Offense is probably turned over more than they wanted. You guys probably haven't forced as many turnovers as you wanted. Turnovers probably have a little bit to do with luck here and there with the way the ball bounces or whatever, but what can you guys do to try to create more turnovers as a defense?
Fly around, be a little more physical on our end as front four. And we got to create them. You know, they don't come to you. We got to create them. We got to put ourselves more in situations to create turnovers.
Chris,
Last two.
what impresses you about the way the Jarius is playing this year?
Well, you just turn on the film. I think everyone can attest to this. I mean, he's been following around the best receivers. You look at every game we've played and what the best receiver has done. Look at last week, following around 14. Look at a couple weeks ago, he followed around Tyreek. He's been doing it consistently throughout this year, following around the best receiver and holding his own. And that just speaks to attest to his game, how he's been able to progress throughout not only last year but to this year, and how he's going to continue to progress. And it's not just a week thing. He's been doing it the whole season. So he's been a huge pivot for us in this defense this year.
Is there a certain appreciation considering you often get a lot of the attention and go up against the best because the way they move guys around? Is there a certain appreciation personally knowing the difficulty of that assignment?
Listen, I'll say it any day. Playing DB is one of the most toughest positions in the league because you're going against guys that run a 4-3, and you don't know where they're running to, right? So when you don't know where they're running to, you got to mirror that, and to have that type of instance and do it at a high level, you know, I have nothing but praise for LJ. But we got a couple more games to go where we need him to be dominant.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy, friends.